Hello everyone, this is your host Vaibhav. I welcome all of you to today's session of Daily Stock in which we are going to consider the quarterly report for the PepsiCo Inc. This is the company which has presence across the world in most of the countries around the world, and I'm quite sure that most of you would have tried and tasted its products, its offerings, as it has a diversified product offering from beverages to the snacks and other related food products, which can be had at a moment's notice. And we have noticed that for last couple of quarters, it has seen steady growth in its earnings, and that steady growth in earnings has been accompanied by steady rise in its share price as well. And in this environment, I feel it is not really showing any signs of stopping. There is a pretty much high probability that its growth is likely to continue as its forward guidance is also pointing northward. It is expecting the 2024 earnings to be higher by around 4 percentage point, whereas its quarterly guidance is also on the positive side. So in this case, all we have to do is try to take advantage of this bullish scenario, and for that, adopting a buy on dips approach is advisable depending on the context and of course its ti- timelines, because we have to divide the horizon in three different timelines: the short term, the medium term, and the long term. And depending on how things are playing out on each time horizon, we can make independent choices. For better understanding of the fundamentals, we will consider its earnings report first. This is the first quarter 2024 results, which was released in the month of April. The net revenue growth for the first quarter stood at 2.3%, and its EPS was at $1.48, which reflected 6 percentage point growth from the same quarter a year back. For better understanding, we go to the consolidated statement of income straight away. Here we have these comparative figures for the 12 weeks ended 23rd March 2024. The net revenues stood at $18.25 billion, which is decent growth from the $17.84 billion a year back. And from that, there is net income of $2.05 billion, which is also decent growth around 4 percentage point from the prior year's numbers. So overall, the company is showing the signs of steady rise in the revenues, and that rise in revenues is being accompanied by the rise in net income. The percentage growth in the net income is slightly better in comparison to the seen growth being seen in the net revenue. That points to the better operating margin this time around, as the company has been able to keep its expenses in check. But overall, if we look at the absolute number, the growth of around 100 million is quite good, because if you look at the nature of the business in which the PepsiCo operates, it's quite difficult to grow the revenue substantially in a single year, or for that matter, even couple of years, because it has a presence across the world already, and most of these markets are quite saturated. So, counting on this market scenario, on high base effect, any further growth, any further penetration in the market share is welcome news for the company and its shareholders. The EPS is also on the higher side this time around. If you want the segment-wise data, you can always refer to these document which is publicly available. You will get these segment-wise information, geography-wise, as well as its different verticals which can be classified from the product offerings. We are not going to go into the details of these segment-wise results. We are more concerned with the cash flows to see where the cash is coming from and how it is being spent. From the operating activity, there was net cash outflow of little over $1 billion, which is a higher cash outflow in comparison to $392 million a year back. And this is happening because it has settled the accounts payable and other current liabilities. And this is a single biggest cash outflow item in this listing. From the investment activity, there was no cash inflow. Instead, there was a cash outflow on account of capital spending. So total cash outflow amounted to $562 million. We don't really have the details for the cash outflow or inflow from the financing activity. Is curtailed. All right, here it is on available on the second page. From the financing activity, there was cash inflow of just $10 million. So they're not really going to make much impact on the total cash scenario for the company, which is negative as its cash and cash equivalents have declined by $1.6 billion on account of higher cash outflow from the operating activity and the investment activity. Still, its cash pile is quite good as it has $8.13 billion on its book, which is a good number to meet any immediate requirement for the capital spending or for any opportunity which might arise in course of business. Now we shift our gaze to the technical side of the story. Here is the charting with each candle period defined at hourly. For the PepsiCo Inc. stock, the rise has been slow and steady. It's a slow moving stock. It doesn't really move much in a single session, in a single week, or even for that matter in a single month. Its movements are pretty slow, and that is mainly attributable to the nature of its business. It is present in the FMCG segment, and in this kind of business, it's not really going to show any remarkable change, any significant change in a single quarter. It is going to take time, and resultantly, its share price will also move over the course of time. So, for any trader or investor who is looking for a slow and steady moving stock, I think the PepsiCo can be the stock of choice for the trading and investment decisions. In the current scenario, the PepsiCo has been moving steadily on the higher side, but this time around, it is showing the signs of fatigue on the short term, and this time around, it has dropped below this prior swing low. But that doesn't really mean that it has changed its course from bullish to bearish. We can't really say that just yet. Maybe if it continues to decline and holds on to this newfound trajectory on the lower side, we can say that, but for that we will need at least a couple of sessions more, and if it doesn't really try to rise back to the prior levels, then maybe next week we can make a fresh assessment, and if the momentum remains bearish, we can change our stance from the bullish to bearish. but it's too early to say at the current juncture, and we will have to keep a keen eye on the share price moves over next few sessions to get a clarity on its trajectory moving forward in the short term. Now, changing to the medium term, we have this candlestick period defined as daily. So we have been able to expand our horizon. It has spent the large part of the second half of fiscal year 2023 consolidating close to the 160 to 170 price band. It didn't really move much, and after consolidating, it started its steady climb, and it has climbed from 160 to 180. And here we have the formation of higher highs and higher lows. So I think we can still count on it to continue to grow, and that is also being backed by its promising results, which have also shown steady increase in the revenues and the net profit. The forward guidance is also pointing northward. So taking all these factors together, I feel we can adopt a buy on dips approach in the PepsiCo stock, and we will have odds in our favor as it is showing promising signs. The only thing which we need to watch out for is its price action when it gets closer to the immediate swing low. So over next few weeks, if it dips further, but on moving towards the lower side, if its price move is contained closer to 170 above this prior swing low, and in course of time, if it starts to show the signs of bullish movement again, I think we can take the wait and try to capitalize on this formation of higher highs and higher lows as long as it doesn't really break the pattern. So for next trade, watch out its price moves over next few sessions, and if there is further decline, but that decline is contained above the prior swing low, then I think we will have the odds in our favors and we can try to capitalize on the possibility of it resuming its rally and in course of time making these fresh break above the immediate swing high of 183. Now for the long term, we have the price formation which is also equally promising in the long term since it's deep towards 100 and subsequent rise close to the immediate swing high. We have seen the PepsiCo stock moving slowly and steadily on the higher side in a bullish manner. There was deep from 196 to 155 in the second half of fiscal year 2023, but that seems to be behind us. It has held on to the levels above 150 quite firmly over last couple of quarters, and in last few weeks it has started to show the bullish momentum, and this seems to be just the beginning of the move towards a prior swing high. So I think there is a strong possibility of it moving towards 200 or even beyond that in the second half of this fiscal year, that is 2024. So keeping that in mind, I feel here also buy and dips is going to be the appropriate approach for us, and all we need is a good risk reward ratio because even if we have everything on our side, we can get it wrong. There is always the possibility of things going against our assumptions, our analysis, and in that scenario, the only thing which can help us is a decent risk reward ratio. So if you get trading opportunity, investment opportunity with good risk reward ratio over next few weeks. And as long as it holds these prior price level of 160, 161 in a good stead, we can indeed take our chances and try to capitalize on these newfound bullish momentum in the stock price of the PepsiCo. So that's my assessment for the long term in the PepsiCo stock. The momentum is fairly similar in the medium term as well. Only thing which we need to watch out is the possible changes from bullish to bearishness in the short term. So on that front, there is not much of a clarity, but it is likely to emerge over next few sessions. Depending on your time horizon, you can make the assessment and try to take advantage of these movements which we are observing in the PepsiCo stocks. That's all for today's session. If you have found the information useful for your trading and investment decision, do write to me in the feedback. You can like and subscribe to the channel as well for equally informative sessions by me as well as other technical hosts on the platform. See you next time around. Till then, have a fabulous